My name is Kai, and today we'll be fighting Garalon and his legs. We used 2 tanks, 3 healers, and 5 DPS. Garalon is a large Kunchong bug. He has 4 legs, all of which have individual health pools. Killing a leg will immediately drop 3% of the boss's health and slow him by 15%. The slow can stack up to 4 times. Under each leg is a bluish-green circle. Standing in the circle buffs your damage dealt by 100% to that leg. This buff only applies to the leg the circle is immediately under. Under Garalon's body is a pink circle. No one should ever touch this circle, ever. Doing so will cause Garalon to crush. More on crushes in a minute. Garalon isn't actually tanked. He's kited around the room using pheromones. At pull, Garalon will cast pheromones on the person closest to him, and he'll follow this player. Pheromones also deal ticking nature damage to the entire raid. Carrying the pheromones will apply a stacking debuff called Pungency. Pungency increases the damage of pheromones by 10% per stack. You don't want to go much higher than 20 stacks of Pungency. At 20, the next designated kiter must take the pheromones from the current kiter and continue moving Garalon around the room. You take pheromones by more or less physically touching the old kiter. 2 yards is all it takes. When pheromones transfer, a new pungency stack will start and the damage dealt by pheromones will reset to its base amount. Pheromones also cause the kiter to drop a pheromone trail, a train of yellow void zones that deal damage when stepped in. This makes kiting Garalon trickier. You must move him around the room, keeping ahead of him to avoid his melee abilities, while keeping the pheromone trail as condensed as possible, so the next kiters have room to move and drop their own trail. We use 4 kiters, our 2 soaker tanks, a range DPS, and a healer. We'll get back to soaker tanks in a minute. Your first kiter starts the fight. Punch Garalon and be the closest to him. Even with 4 legs, you can out-backpedal the boss. We pull him forward and to the right, drag him across the raid's buff spot, and then kite him around the room. Your kiters must know their orders, so they're ready to pick up pheromones when the kiter before them has 20 stacks. I focus the kiter in line before me and move close to her at 15 stacks. When 20 hits, I'm right there to touch her and take the debuff. She must immediately, simultaneously run away so she doesn't accidentally take the pheromones back because she's within 2 yards of me. When pheromones are passed, Garalon will automatically crush. He'll flap down on the raid, stunning everyone for 5 seconds and dealing medium damage. The same thing happens if you touch the pink line. While being kited, Garalon will use Furious Swipe. Furious Swipe is a frontal cone that deals about 300k damage divided by player's hit. If less than 2 players are hit by Swipe, Garalon will gain Fury. Each stack of Fury increases Garalon's damage dealt and movement speed by 10%. He must not gain Fury. We keep our 2 tanks in tank spec and have them soak swipes, but any player who can take roughly 150k damage every few seconds will work. Tanks can also kite pheromones, they just must be able to stand in swipe and backpedal to drop and not stand in pheromone trail. For everyone not kiting stink juice or tanking swipes, Garalon is a DPS race. His regular enrage timer is tight, and the pheromone trails covering the floor act as another soft enrage. Splitting DPS between the body and the legs is important. Garalon will mend and regrow his legs throughout the fight, so you must keep breaking them to keep him slowed for kiting. Remember, killing a leg deals instant damage as well. You'll want to put enough DPS on the legs so you can kill them faster than you could simply deal 3% damage to the boss. This is not a multi-dot fight, this is a burst fight. Always stand in a leg's green circle while killing it. We put our 2 melee on 100% leg killing duty and rage DPS on the body. If melee cannot get to a leg due to pheromone trails being in the way, the range can help out. If you didn't notice, Garalon himself is huge. Healer's biggest challenge will be keeping everyone they need to heal in range. We keep 1 healer in with the melee and 1 farther forward with the soaker tanks at all times. Our 3rd healer is in the kiting rotation and spends a lot of her time moving around. From 1 pheromone kiter to all the others out there, you don't have to always kite pheromones in a straight line. Garalon will easily become so slow that even only backpedaling, you will move completely out of range of him. You can draw boxes with your trail or plop them very close together so you don't have to move as much. You only need to be far enough ahead of him to avoid swipe. Stay as close to healers as you can. Once your kiters get their shit together, I've found this fight to be incredibly fun. There are no other phases. Kill the legs, kite the smell, soak the swipes. Never stand in pink, never stand in yellow. Stand in green, heal your faces off because there is a lot of damage. DPS your asses off because the enrage timer is really tight. It's a 7-minute hard enrage timer if you prefer numbers. Anyway, this is a teamwork fight. Your kiters will really need to learn to work together, but once they do, you will love it. I loved it. This is my favorite boss fight in Heart of Fear thus far. That's all I've got for Garalon. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed my video. If you did, you can check out some of my other Heart of Fear, Mogushan Vaults, or Brawlers Guild videos. My name's Kai, and happy looting! This leg, this circle, this DPS.